several authors have different versions of what accounted for our loss. Some people will say it was arrogance of power. Some people will say it was the policy of government. Some people will say it was the nature and approach of campaign. Different theories will come to play as to why the NPP lost the elections. And the vice president doesn't want to go with the euphoria. He doesn't want to go with the noise. He doesn't want to go with the cacophony of the forest of issues that probably might have occasioned the loss. He wants to take his time, driven by facts, science and data, will know what it is. Then the party can then sit. From there, I think he can then make known his political future. If the vice president is a danger, if the vice president is a danger to the New Patriotic Party in terms of its ability to capture power, the vice president will not present himself. I'm clear in my mind when it comes to that, because he puts the party and the good people of Ghana above his personal interest. So what I'm clear is that the vice president would only present himself to the good people of Ghana to be considered for another opportunity if, at the end of the day, in the full assessment of the facts, he feels strongly that he still has something to offer. The good people of Ghana still believe he can offer something. The party and the grassroots party still believe that he is still the best foot forward. And then he would then step up to that task. But for now, if anyone tells you the vice president has declared his intention to, contest the next election, I would say that it is not born out of the fact. You may be taking some, but he's not communicated that either directly to or indirectly to any stakeholder. He has not gone around to even thank the people. Yeah. He has to go around and then show appreciation to the chiefs and elders of the Ghanaian community for coming out to support him and to thank God for the protection he's gone through this particular difficult electioneering process.
Does he intend to do that?
He has to, and he would. Okay. In fact, it was planned to be done immediately after the election, but because of the internal party processes, he had to take a step backward and allow the party to conclude. I'm thinking that by close of this month, that should have been done. The party will have finished its work, and then he is now free to then know what is his next course of action.
All right. How was he?
Well, first of all, the problem is that my brother and friend appears to be living in the past.
Oh,
yeah.
Living in the past?
Yeah.
Why?
References to Dr. Bawumia as the vice president is troublesome.
Sorry, former vice president.
It's a former vice president.
The faux pas, quite clearly.
Yeah, that's
well, whatever it is, it's a former vice president. Yeah. It's not the vice president, And I think it's important for us to step out of the past into the present.
No, it was inadvertent mistake. So
no problem. Yes, no problem. Look, yes. An allegation has been made is not true. He has not met members of parliament to give them directions as to how to react to the budget and so on. Fair.
Okay.
But how does that become atrocious and so on? How? Former vice president, only recently leader of the party, a bona fide member of the party, has a meeting with parliamentarians. It's not an issue. It's not an issue at all. Indeed, that is how things ought to have happened.
You think so?
Why not?
He's not the leader of the party anymore. He's the national chairman.
Every member of the party, every member, leader or not, has a responsibility to help shape party policy. And he's entitled. It's his duty and entitlement. So I don't see any big deal about that. The point is, whether or not he needs parliamentarians or not, the facts are clear. The facts will be analyzed by the people of Ghana. The people of Ghana will take a position. Indeed, the last election was a referendum on the performance of the party he led and the government in which he was the number 2 supremo and so on.
Mr. Kwesi, so there are many NPP people who disagree with this conclusion. They say it's a referendum on Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. This has nothing to do with Dr. Bawumia. And in any case, he's not the president. He's not the final decider on what happened in that government. So it will be unfair to lump the vice president.
Well, I think in many ways that is most unfair to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. There's no president, who is a rubber man. There's no president who by himself is Captain Planet and so on. The government machinery works together. You understand? And you know that Dr. Bawumia took credit for some of the things that happened under Akufo-Addo.
Fact.
His supporters took credit for what happened under Akufo-Addo. How then can they all of a sudden extricate themselves from the bad sides, and heap all the blame on Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo? Yes, it is true that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, as president, had some problems with some sections of his party. Indeed, when a large part of the opposition members of parliament decided that he should get rid of his finance minister, he refused and resisted over a long period of time. These are all, facts. But then, he is not solely responsible for everything that went wrong in that party. They were all participants. What did they do to stop him? If they genuinely felt that Nana Akufo-Addo was driving the country and on the rocks and so on, why? They could have joined the so-called minority then to impeach him, to remove him, and to bring somebody else. They didn't. They should stop this game of heaping all the blame on Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And in any case, if Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo ran this country aground, the party allowed him to do so. The people in his government allowed him to do so. So they are equally responsible for whatever happened under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, good or bad.
Okay.
This thing about extricating themselves and making him the fall guy and so on, I don't think is acceptable.
All right.
It's.
Yeah, I think
I think in many ways,
it's unfair to Nana Akufo-Addo.
Yeah, and it's a bad reflection on our politicians. They should take responsibility for what they do.
Okay.
Why? These same people who are today looking for hatchets to cut him down were the people praising him all the time. You remember. I mean, what didn't Dr. Bawumia say about Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo? Full of praise and so on. How come that all of a sudden people have drawn machetes and want to cut him down? I think it's most unfair and it's highly irresponsible.
Yeah, I think it's because if you lose an election, emotions are high. Whatever anyone is saying.
Disagree with Doc?
Whatever.
Disagree with the
No. I don't disagree with him. I just feel like whatever people are saying is born out of emotions. No one has sat down to do the analysis concrete of why we lost.
No, but there's a certain principle he's establishing, or he has established.
Yeah.
It's the principle of collective blame and collective.
I said that principle
credit.
is a valid principle,
Yes.
and that's something I'm not taking anything away
from
that presentation to the fact that if you're a government, you benefit and you fall together, and if there's any blame, it is unfortunate to try to be apportioned to one single person. But I'm saying that's set. As to why we lost the elections, we have to be determined scientifically.
Right.
Once we come to the determination, and the determination was so that Nana Akufo-Addo was the reason, after a scientific exercise, I'm not sure he would even resist that. If it is Dr. Bawumia who was the reason, I'm not sure he would resist that. If it is the party machinery, I'm not sure they would resist that. So that's what I'm saying. Because emotions are high, when we throw distance out, if they say that even when Nana Addo, I also want to fight back. Right? That we've just gone to a difficult election and we've lost, and you want to blame me for everything. If I were Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and you are blaming me and blaming everything that I was the problem, I would fight back. Because we saw how he put his effort. Went to 276 constituencies. No presidential candidate has ever done that. Right? He gave his all. And if you tend to blame me, he will fight back. But if scientifically, at the end of the day, it is proven that either of them was the problem, then the people would then sit back and realize the things they didn't do well. So, like I said, and I agree with him that it is not fair to start to blame one person. Now, responsibly, we must all take responsibility for what happened, every single member of the New Patriotic Party, because we are going with that particular ticket. If we lost, we then all take responsibility, but we come back to the drawing board and then try to fish out the reasons and then flesh them out.
Okay.
But Musa, look, let's be honest. No scientific investigation, properly so-called, can establish that one person was responsible for the defeat of the NPP.
Well, we all agree on that.
No scientific
we all agree on that. But let's wait till that
It is
comes.
not possible. The whole party was responsible for what led to this massive defeat. And the party had better come to terms with that reality. You understand? Oh, it was Akufo-Addo, it was not the rest of us. The rest of us will reorganize and take power in 2028 and so on. Stop dreaming. That whole party machinery could not perform. Finish.
Okay. I recall when the NDC lost the 2016 elections, when the former president at the time, John Mahama, met the MPs for the first time, where he did the analogy about the jockey and the horse.
Yeah.
He said, look, if the horse is not properly put in order, it doesn't matter how skillful the jockey is, he will still have problems. So I guess it buttresses the point you're making that the party would have to be fixed first.
You know, I mean, some people today are blaming our good friend, what's his name, used to be former energy minister, Napo.
Yes, Matthew Prempe.
A lot of people are blaming him for the defeat of the party.
Yes.
How can you blame him? Did he select himself as running mate? Did he select himself as running mate? Everybody knew what he was. Everybody knew his disposition. Everybody knew everything. And he was selected. So if indeed his performance was below par and so on, why? Those who select him are equally guilty. Let's stop this blame game. It's not going to help anybody. The party has been defeated in an election. The defeat was massive. I agree. Maybe some scientific evaluation of the processes will reveal, the challenges that the party faced then, and which may still be confronting the party.